Jessie hadn't moved much in the past hour. He'd checked her pulse twice, adjusted blankets, elevated her feet slightly to help circulation. Now he simply waited, ever vigilant. He didn't know her story, where she'd come from, why she'd risked widow's pass alone in such weather, and it didn't matter. She was here, breathing, alive. That was enough for now. Then she stirred meaningfully. A soft groan escaped her lips, her head turning slightly on the thin pillow. Jessie straightened immediately, leaning forward. Her eyelids fluttered open slowly, revealing sharp gray eyes that blinked in confusion at the unfamiliar log ceiling above. She tried to sit up but lacked the strength, slumping back with a frustrated exhale. "Easy now," Jessie said calmly, his voice low and reassuring. "You're safe, take it slow." Her gaze shifted to him, wide with disorientation and a flicker of wariness. She attempted speech but managed only a hoarse croak. "Don't push yourself," he advised gently, hand hovering but not touching. "You've been out cold for hours, nearly froze solid out there on the trail." She stared at him a long moment, processing. Her eyes darted around the modest cabin, the rough walls, stone fireplace, the boy at the stove, then back to Jessie. "Where?" The word was barely a whisper, rough as gravel. "Copper Creek," Jessie replied. "Few miles south of Stillwater. Found you half buried in a drift on Widow's Pass. Brought you back here to thaw out." Understanding dawned, followed by sudden alarm. "My horse, she's in the lean-to out back," he assured her quickly. "Fed her grain, rubbed her down good. She's tired, but she'll pull through just fine." Relief washed over her features, her body relaxing slightly into the cot. Then she truly looked at Jessie, taking in the weathered lines around his eyes, the faded flannel shirt, the rough, calloused hands that spoke of endless hard labor. "You didn't have to do any of this," she said quietly, voice gaining strength. Jessie shrugged, uncomfortable with gratitude he felt he hadn't earned. "Didn't seem right to ride on and leave you for the wolves." Her expression turned thoughtful, almost sad. Most people would have looked the other way." Before Jessie could respond, Tommy appeared at the bedside, carefully balancing a chipped bowl of steaming beans in both hands. His curiosity outweighed any lingering fear. "Pa said you were real cold," the boy offered earnestly. "This'll warm you from the inside." The woman's gaze softened dramatically as she looked at the child. With trembling hands, she accepted the bowl. "Thank you, young man, that's very kind," Tommy beamed. "You got a name?" "Tommy," Jessie gently reprimanded, but not harshly. The woman, Kate, smiled faintly, the expression transforming her tired face. "It's quite all right. My name's Kate." Tommy nodded solemnly, committing it to memory. "I'm Tommy Dalton." "That's my pa, Jessie." Kate's gray eyes met Jessie's again, something deeper passing between them, gratitude, respect, perhaps the first threads of connection. "Thank you, Jessie," she said softly, sincerely, "for saving my life, for not leaving me out there to die." Jessie nodded once, his face impassive as always. "Just eat up. You'll need strength to get back on your feet." As the fire popped and crackled, and the storm outside finally ebbed into quiet snowfall, the three of them shared the simple meal in companionable silence. Strangers no longer, bound by survival and unexpected kindness. That night, as Tommy slept soundly in his corner cot, Jessie and Kate talked in low voices by the dying fire. She asked about the cabin, how long they'd lived there. "Going on 6 years," Jessie said. "Built it myself after Tommy's ma passed from fever. He was just 2, needed a place of our own." "I'm truly sorry," Kate whispered. He acknowledged it with a brief nod, the pain old but never gone. "This land's all I could afford. Honest work shoeing horses and fixing things in town keeps us going." Kate glanced around the sparse but clean room. "It's good work, honest work, more than many can claim." Jessie's jaw tightened slightly, not in anger, but quiet pride. "Keeps food on the table, roof overhead, fire burning. That's all a man needs." "You could want more," she said gently. "You deserve more." He met her eyes steadily. "Wanting more don't put food on the table when you got nothing to start with. Learned long ago not to chase dreams that hurt when they don't come true." Kate recognized that resignation all too well. She'd seen it in the eyes of hired hands on her own vast ranch. Men who toiled endlessly for wages that barely sustained them. Men who'd stopped hoping because hope was a cruel tease. "What were you doing out on that trail alone in a storm?" Jessie asked, turning the conversation. Kate sighed, fingers tracing the quilt's patterns. "Heading to Grandpine Lodge for business. My driver took sick 2 days back in Stillwater, so I pressed on alone. Thought I could beat the weather." A bitter smile. "Pride and poor judgment nearly killed me." "That pass ain't no place for anyone alone in winter, let alone a woman," Jessie said bluntly but without judgment. Her eyes flashed briefly. I've ridden tougher trails than Widow's Pass. I can handle myself. I'm sure you can, he conceded, but the mountain don't care how tough you are. She studied him longer, noting the absence of condescension, the plain-spoken honesty. It was rare in her world of business deals and calculated alliances. Tommy, half asleep earlier, piped up from the floor where he'd been whittling. What do you do, ma'am? For work, Kate hesitated, glancing at Jessie's patient curiosity. I run a ranch, she said carefully. Cattle operation mostly. Tommy's eyes lit up. A big one. With hundreds and hundreds of cows? Kate smiled despite herself. Thousands, actually. Jessie let out a low whistle, no envy in it, just quiet acknowledgement. Must be something to have land like that. Roots deep in the earth. Kate thought of her sprawling Silver Ridge estate. The endless pastures, the grand mansion with echoing empty rooms, the weight of managing an empire alone since her father's death. Then she looked around this tiny, warm cabin filled with genuine care and felt an unexpected pang. It has its rewards, she said softly. But its burdens too. Jessie nodded as if he understood perfectly. Anything worth having does. Morning arrived crisp and clear, the sky washed clean by the storm's fury. Sunlight streamed through the frost-laced window, painting bright patterns on the plank floor. Jessie was up early, pulling on his coat and boots quietly so as not to wake Tommy, who snored softly in his blankets. Kate stirred on the cot, sitting up slowly and testing her limbs. Soreness lingered, but the deadly chill was gone. She was alive, miraculously so. Morning, Jessie greeted from the door. Feeling better? Much, she replied, voice stronger. Thanks to you, he nodded. Good, I'll check on your mare, make sure she's fit to ride. Storms past, trails should be passable by noon. I can help, Kate offered, swinging her legs off the cot. No need, rest up. He was out the door before she could protest, letting in a sharp blast of cold air. From the window, Kate watched him trudge through knee-deep snow to the lean-to. Tommy woke soon after, padding over to stand beside her. He's always like that, the boy said matter-of-factly, fixing things, helping folks even when they don't ask. Kate smiled warmly. He's a good man, the best kind. The very best, Tommy agreed with childlike certainty. Outside, Jessie tended the black mare with expert care. She was a fine animal, strong lines, expensive English saddle and bridle far beyond what most locals could afford. Everything about Kate spoke of wealth and status, yet she'd shown no superiority, no disdain for their humble life. She'd accepted the simple food and shelter with genuine thanks. He tightened a loose cinch, adjusted stirrups, checked hooves for cracks. Satisfied, he led her around front and tied her to the porch rail. Kate emerged onto the porch, bundled in her now dry coat, color fully returned to her cheeks. She's ready, fit as can be, Jessie confirmed. You'll make Stillwater easy today, she stroked the mare's neck affectionately. The horse nuzzled her in return. You've gone above and beyond, Kate said quietly. Most men would have demanded payment or at least accepted it. Jessie shrugged. I'm not most men. She held his gaze, something electric passing between them, mutual recognition of rare integrity. Reaching into her pocket, she pulled out a thick fold of bills. Please, let me repay you somehow. He raised a hand, stopping her firmly. Keep your money, ma'am. I did what any decent person would have. But, no buts, it was the right thing. Right things don't come with prices. Tommy ran out then, hugging Kate's legs impulsively. Will you come back someday? She knelt to his level, brushing snow from his hair. I just might, Tommy. I'd like that. Standing, she mounted gracefully despite lingering stiffness. With one final, lingering look at Jessie. A look loaded with unspoken promises and gratitude. She turned the mare and rode away, disappearing into the sparkling white landscape. Jessie and Tommy watched until she was gone, then returned inside to their routine. Life went on, hard work, simple meals, quiet evenings. But a seed had been planted, a quiet shift in the air. 2 weeks later, a stranger arrived on horseback, a well-dressed man carrying a sealed envelope. For Jessie Dalton, he said formally, from Miss Catherine Hargrove. Jessie accepted it warily, noting the fine paper and wax seal. Inside was elegant handwriting that turned his world upside down. Dear Mr. Dalton, I am Catherine Hargrove, owner of the Hargrove Cattle Empire, the largest operation in the territory, spanning tens of thousands of acres from Silver Ridge to the plains beyond. Your selfless act saved my life that night. You asked for nothing, expected nothing, yet gave everything a person in need could hope for. In return, I offer you what you richly deserve, the position of foreman on my ranch with a generous salary, a house of your own, and a parcel of land to call yours forever. Bring Tommy. There is room for family here and a future brighter than any storm. Come to Silver Ridge when you are ready. With deepest gratitude, Catherine Hargrove. Jesse read it twice, hands trembling. He'd long ago buried dreams of more, of security, of legacy, because dreaming without means only brought pain. But now, through one act of pure kindness, doors he'd never imagined swung wide open. He looked at Tommy playing nearby, whittling a new toy horse. "Pack your things, son," Jesse said, voice thick with emotion. "We're heading out on the biggest adventure of our lives." They arrived at Silver Ridge weeks later, greeted personally by Kate on the grand veranda of the main house. The ranch was breathtaking, vast herds dotting endless green pastures, modern barns, hundreds of hands at work. Yet Kate's smile was the same genuine one from the cabin. Tommy thrived immediately, learning to ride better horses, making friends among the ranch children, growing strong under open skies. Jesse threw himself into the foreman role with the same quiet dedication, earning respect quickly for his skill and fairness. Over months, then years, Jesse and Kate grew closer. Shared rides across the land, late nights discussing cattle prices and weather patterns, quiet moments watching sunsets from the porch. Their bond, forged in that blizzard, deepened into love, steady, enduring, real. They married quietly under a grove of ancient pines, Tommy beaming as ring-bearer. The Hargrove empire flourished under Jesse's practical guidance, but the heart of it remained the family they'd built. In quiet moments, Jesse often thought back to that stormy night on Widow's Pass, the stranger in the snow who changed everything. He'd learned a profound truth. True kindness, given without expectation, has a way of returning tenfold, opening paths to dreams you never dared voice. And on cold winter nights, when snow fell softly outside their warm home, Jesse would pull Kate close and whisper, "Worth every mile in that storm."